guys have been asking me for murder confessions for years now. So guess what I'm doing today? Guess. Oh my god, you guys actually suck at guessing. We're doing murder confessions, guys. Murder confessions. I fantasize constantly about murdering the doctor who committed medical malpractice on me. This is normal, right? I mean, if somebody who's supposed to be a trained medical professional screws up really badly and leaves you permanently damaged, then it's normal to think about torturing and killing them, right? I've never felt this dark inside, and it's scary. I don't think I'd ever do anything, but sometimes I wonder if maybe I really will crack someday and hunt down this doctor and just fucking execute them. Unfortunately, it's probably more likely that the bitterness will consume me and I'll end up killing myself. Of course, I don't actually own any tools for murder or suicide, which is really most likely is I'll fuck around my whole life writing sad Reddit posts and writing in my dumb diary about it. I don't think it's normal to want to kill the doctor who messed up, but I think it's normal to want to sue them. I'm trying to see like what the doctor actually did to see if the doctor deserves murder or not. Not that. No, that's not what I meant. I'm trying to see what the doctor did to him to see if he is valid in feeling this way. And he says in one of the comments, he had a misdiagnosis followed by years and years of incorrect medical treatments. Every time I expressed concern the treatment wasn't working and that maybe we should reconsider our approach, the doctor blew me off. And they tried to sue the doctor, and so have other patients, and they didn't. Somebody said, how are you health-wise? And they said, that's a complicated question. Actually, well, considering that I was completely bedridden from medical malpractice and now I can walk again, I have to say I'm a lot better from the med mal. I was bedridden, then I was in a wheelchair. But when you compare what I was like before the med mal to what I am now, then I'd have to say I function at less than half the capacity I used to have. I have chronic pain, mobility limitations, driving limitations, sensory troubles, and neuromuscular problems. I do still need a walker or a cane to leave my house and haven't been able to return to work. I tried to do some volunteer work from home to test my limits, and I've been humiliated and have to resign each time because I don't have the stamina for it. Plus, I'm seriously emotionally traumatized from the experience that I've only recently begun to admit that, like now. The way I overextended my pain threshold for typing and my whole body feels like it's being knifed all over. I don't think this doctor like necessarily deserves to be murdered, but I think you could plot in other ways. I don't want to get canceled for saying this, but like this doctor needs to be exposed and lose their job, and you need to throw like dog shit at his house to make you feel better or something. If you have any family members who are able-bodied and maybe they want to take some dog shit and just throw it at his house, don't tell them I said that. But that might make you feel better, and that might make you not want to commit anymore, you know? Commit a murder. But if I were you, I would avoid murder because it sounds like you are super disabled right now, and it just wouldn't be good for you to end the doctor's life and he doesn't have to suffer at all, but then you have to go suffer in prison with a disability. So maybe you can get revenge in other ways, like throwing dog shit at his house or something. Said that? Who said that? My boyfriend's best friend was murdered last night, and just 1 week ago I said I wouldn't care if she died. My boyfriend L is a struggling heroin addict, and his two best friends LG and RR are addicts as well. Had so many fights about him hanging out with them, and I have developed such strong resentment towards them. A week ago we got into a fight because he'd used with them yet again. I ended up confessing that I wouldn't care at all if either of them ended up dead. I meant it. Last night we started receiving bizarre calls from the boyfriend RR. And before long, we realized that he had probably killed his girlfriend, LG. LG has been my boyfriend's best friend since middle school. RR strangled her to death and had been sitting with the body for hours while coming up with a story. I am regretting doing this video right now. We drove over there and called the police. Ended up standing around for hours while waiting to talk to the detectives. It's all so surreal. But today my boyfriend is lashing out at me because of what I said last week. He's distracting himself by being angry at me rather than dealing with the loss. I don't know if our relationship can recover, honestly. How can I be with someone who hates me for hating his friends? How can he be with me when he hates me? I just feel conflicted because I still think they're bad people and horrible influences, but I also feel terrible that she died that way. No one deserves that. But it's not like I can just turn off my resentment and mourn the loss of these people still. I'd like to be there for my boyfriend if he'd let me. If you're with somebody and they're doing certain drugs that you don't do and you don't want them to do those drugs and they won't stop, maybe don't be with that person no matter how much you really care about them. Like me personally, if I was dating someone and they started, doing heroin and they had friends that they did it with, I'm not sticking around to see what happens and what comes from that. And I know he just lost his best friend and he might need support, but if he's gonna keep doing heroin, it might be time for you to leave. And I mean that seriously. I hope that you're watching this and I hope that you see what I'm saying, and I need other people to tell this girl in the comments that this is not good for her, and you think about yourself and what's best for you in your life. He just said in a comment that he wasn't doing heroin when they first started dating and he was a recovered addict, which is, I think that's fine to date someone who's changing their life for the better and trying to better themselves. If they have a messed up past, like, that's totally fine. But the second he started picking that stuff up again and doing it is when you should have gave him an ultimatum and just been like, if you don't stop doing this, I'm leaving. And then if he decides to keep doing it, then you gotta leave, because he needs that wake-up call. And girl, like, raise your standards, please. I want to murder a 3-year-old. I just spent 5 hours on a plane with a toddler sitting behind me screaming his head off and kicking the back of my seat with all of his might for the entirety of the trip. Seriously, that kid had some pipes on him. 5 hours? I haven't slept in 24 hours and I haven't eaten in 6. I spent the last 2 hours of the plane ride fantasizing about turning around and beating his stupid little face into a pulp. I really think I could have done it. That little human is doing nothing but putting out negativity into the world. And we might just be better off without awful people like him. Don't blame the child, blame the parents. They're the ones that's sitting right next to him while he's throwing a tantrum for the entire flight, and they couldn't beat the shit out of him for you. They couldn't have told him to shut the fuck up and you're not gonna eat a snack unless you shut up, and then he shut up and he gets a snack. Like, they're the one who's letting him freak out. Why are you trying to take out the anger on him? Go for the parents. I've now eaten and taken a nap and I feel horrible that I really, really, really wanted to curb stomp a child. I'm sure he's going to grow up and be a wonderful contributing member of society, and he'll grow out of the whole screaming and kicking thing. I'm sorry. Much love to him and his parents. No love to the parents. Why are you letting your child act like this? Give them some autism headphones or something. A lot of people asking why I didn't just say something to the parents. I wrote the following in a comment, but figured I'd throw it up here for everybody to see. I definitely had words, but if there's anything that my mom taught me, it's how god-awful it is to travel with small children. My siblings and I went to a lot of places with my parents when we were very young. The parents in this case weren't completely ignoring the child. They may have been able to do a little more, but he was really just throwing a very long temper tantrum because he didn't want to be in his seat. There is not much you can do with that about that. So I'm ho. I thought that telling the parents they need to do something they already know they have to do and are trying to do would not make the situation better for anyone. Despite my facious remarks earlier, I really do empathize with the parents and understand that toddlers are toddlers and it's much harder said than done to make them shut up. And didn't want to do anything to make their flight harder, and in the end wouldn't make my situation better. That being said, it still didn't stop me from having murderous thoughts because those 5 hours really sucked. Okay, but like, did the parents not have like something for the kid to do? Like a book, a phone, a tablet, a movie, a game, a YouTube video. Like, he could literally watch my YouTube video and then he wouldn't have been screaming anymore because I'm so funny. Like, next time that happens, like, just throw on my video for the screaming kids and then they'll probably stop screaming and just like giggle the whole time, and that's like so much better than a screaming child is a giggling child, and then it wouldn't be so bad. But if they don't want to do any of that, like, you just have to start screaming yourself. Like, you have to turn around in the chair like this. I am the person sitting in front of you in the plane. I turn around. I am sitting backwards in my chair. I look over the chair, okay? So I'm going over the chair, I'm going up. And I look this child in the eyes. And if that doesn't, just me looking at them, doesn't make them stop crying and they keep crying, you just start crying with them, right? Like that one girl who was crying on the plane. Just scream in their face. It'll get them to stop. I feel like it's really distracting. If that doesn't work, maybe you're embarrassed to yell, just turn to the kid like that, get to past the first step, and instead of doing step 2 where you scream, you could just say, shut the fuck up, or I'm going to take all of your toys and you're going to be homeless and we're going to parachute you out of this plane and the pirates are going to get you and make you walk the plank if you don't stop crying right now. And, you know, saying something like that, like something kind of crazy, will probably make him stop to think and like confuse him a little bit, because like, first of all, he probably didn't even think like he would be noticed by anybody else, and then you just said something really confusing in his face and it's gonna make him stop for a minute and everyone's gonna clap. Everyone's gonna clap and the plane's still in the air and everyone's gonna clap. I know this was kind of a shorter video. Some of the murder confessions that I saw were kind of intense, and I kind of regret choosing this topic because I thought I was gonna find some funny stories, but a lot of the stories I actually found were actual real murder confessions, and so like low-key regret choosing this topic. Maybe I'll do it again, maybe I won't, but I'm scared that I'm gonna get flagged and this video is gonna get taken down for all the words that I had to say, so I'm just gonna have to bleep everything out. And please don't ever ask me to post a video like this ever again.